If you've ever been confused by all the pentatonic shapes, this video is to help clear that up. I'll go through all 5 shapes and show you some tips and tricks along the way. Let's get started. You're going to want to look at all of the pentatonic shapes as a 4-finger box. So that's 4 fingers and 4 frets. And then you're essentially just filling in the box. So what I would like you to do is, if you're ever using a 2nd finger, have a 1st finger down behind it. If you're using a 3rd finger, have a 2nd and a 1st finger down behind it. And with a pinky, you'll have all 4 fingers down. That will help down the road when you're doing some pull-offs and bends. Inside of each shape, we have long reaches and short reaches. The short reaches are going to be from a 1st finger to a 3rd finger, or a 2nd finger to a 4th finger. So that's going to be a 3-fret reach for our short reaches. And then the long reaches are going to be a 4-fret reach. And those will be from an index finger to a pinky. Each shape will have 2 long reaches, and they will always be right next to each other. With the exception, anytime you're playing a long reach to begin with on the 6th string, that will always end in a long reach. And that will hold true for all of the patterns, even if it's a short reach. If you start on a short reach, it's going to be exactly the same because these are both E strings. Let's start with the OG, the Mac Daddy, pattern 1. Pattern 1 is what we commonly refer to as our minor pentatonic. That's the only one that starts on a minor root note on the very first note of the scale. Now, all of the pentatonics are going to fit together like a puzzle. So that means that the bottom notes of pattern 1 are the top notes of pattern 2. So if we move into pattern 2, we're going to start it where the pinky was in pattern 1. Now I'm going to play up pattern 2. Here's my long reach, so the long reach is right next to it. Right here, I'm going to recommend you use a 2nd finger and then a 4th finger. A lot of people want to shift to a 1st finger here, but that brings you outside of the 4-finger box. So next, we're going to move into pattern 3. Remember, the bottom of pattern 2 is the top of pattern 3. So I'm going to start pattern 3 where my pinky was. Pattern 3 starts with 1, 3, 1, 3, 1, 3. So that's an easy way to remember pattern 3. For pattern 3, we have to reach outside of the 4-finger box. And then we're back into it. The bottom of pattern 3 is the top of pattern 4. So now I'm in pattern 4. Pattern 4 starts with 1, 4, 1, 4. Pattern 5, we use the bottom of pattern 4, and pattern 5 is symmetrical, so if you folded it in on itself, it would match. This one, I personally like to start it with a 1, 3. If you started it with a 2-4, then you would keep inside of that 4-finger box. But I feel like when you actually are playing it, you're more likely to use a first and third finger rather than a second and fourth. So I'm going to go. Notice how my long reaches were touching each other. We're right next to each other. Now I've made it through all 5 patterns, so that means that the bottom of pattern 5 is the top of pattern 1, and they just start over. I'm going to play through all 5 patterns. Once you know them well enough, then you'll be able to play along with me. Another good way to practice the pentatonic patterns is to start them all from the same spot. The reason to do this is because you can't rely on your ear in order to be able to play them. We'll start them all from the 2nd fret. So this is pattern 1. Context of pattern 1, it's not going to sound correct. I'm going to do pattern 3 again. They're all going to sound a little off. Pattern 4. Lastly, pattern 5. These are going to take time in order to learn. There is no substitution for just practicing them, putting your fingers on the fretboard, and just go into it knowing that. In the next lesson, we'll cover the octave patterns and how they fit with the pentatonic patterns. Those will help you outline the minor roots inside of each pattern. All this can be found in my book, Guitar Theory Simplified. The links are down below. I'll see you at the next lesson.